Internets. I don't even know where to start, but I want to start by saying that I cried all day yesterday, all morning, all afternoon, all night. First time in a long time that I have been able to cry. Real tears for the loss and the passing of my brother Reggie Osse, a.k.a. Combat Jack. You know, for a while, when he found out that he had colon cancer and that it was stage 4, he was battling it, and, you know, we all wanted him to be the warrior and tackle that thing and get back on his feet. But he was dealing with such a battle that it was just tough to see him go through that, you know. One of our last couple of times being together, I remember him crying to me and holding my hand and telling me how much he loved me. I told him how much I love him and how much he meant to me. You know, my history with Combat, I was introduced to Combat by Dallas Penn back in 2010. It came on very early, a couple episodes into the Combat Jack show, and the rest is history. You know, Combat Jack was always like a big brother to me. You know, we fought, but we never lost love for each other. You know, one of the biggest things I've been trying to let people know is that give people their roses while they're still here. You don't expect to lose somebody that you consider family. You know, friends become family. Losing Combat Jack is not only something that hurts me as a friend, as somebody who'd done so much with him over the years, but all of hip-hop and how much he breathed it and believed in it and how much he dedicated to it and how much he gave to it. One thing you can never take away from Reggie Osse is how much he loved hip-hop and how much he wanted for people to hear the story, the journey, the highlights. You know, more importantly, when the thing that makes me really upset is when I think of his kids, you know, and me as being a fellow father and how much he's got a 10-year-old daughter, man. Imagine just never coming home to her again. Or his 3 boys, Chuma, Kai, and Chi. You know, it's you know, Kim, and I want to send my prayers and blessings to all of them and let them know how much that I love them. And I wish them all the best of blessings and prayers. And I don't know, internet's, I'll be honest with you, man, I'm very speechless. You know, I don't mean to put this type of saddening bumper, but this is a saddening time. To lose somebody like Combat is tough. You know, and I've spoke about it, and you know, even through our fights and battles, we may never lost love, but we lost a lot of time. And that shit hurts me. It hurts me to know that we wasted time arguing over stuff that probably on both sides could have been communicated better. You know, I'm thankful for the opportunity, for how much he believed in me. I'm thankful for the times we had. You know, Combat Jack loved Howard Stern, man. It was influenced by Howard Stern. And we made our cast of like Dallas Penn and Ben Hameen and Just Blaze and A. King and Matt Raz. And, you know, when you had these people, it was like a sort of like a Howard Stern type cast, you know, funny and different type of personalities in one room. And even though Combat always felt we need to have a guest, I always felt like the barbershop banter was some of the best content I've heard. You know, yesterday there was so much love and pour out for Reggie on social, and so many different artists showing love. And I think when you put your heart into something, people feel it and they see the love, and it's only right for them to give that back. I think Combat Jack, his legacy will live on forever. And we must make sure of that. We must make sure that his contributions to this game, to this culture of hip-hop, are forever remembered. And I know the crew and the whole LSN family, I want to send my prayers out to them because it's not easy. It's tough. People like Chris Morrow and Jonathan Menner and Mello and rest of the network. Listen, Internet, today's episode I have for you, I sit down with the one and only Consequence. I taped this episode last week. There's a part in there we actually spoke about Reggie and him battling. So if you hear that, it's because we did this episode last week. This bumper is done today. But I want to say this. I had a great time chopping it up with Consequence. Really going over the journey. Tribe Called Quest. Himself as a solo artist. Just the whole debacle and the downfall of a Tribe Called Quest with Tip and Phife, and why Kanye, loves him and values his opinion and has, worked with him over and over again, even after different type of situations they went through. I mean, I feel like Consequence is a guy who's been around the game a long time, man. And you're not around that long if you're not special. Internet, one more time, I want to have a moment of silence for my friend, my brother, and our definitely interconnected brother, Reggie Osse, a.k.a. Combat Jack. Keep him in your prayers. Keep his family in your prayers. I present to you the Consequence episode. Cheer.
Come on, everybody get set, let's go. It's the next episode. It's the Premium Pete Show. News, interviews, all of the info. Listen up, it's the Premium Pete Show. If you want the scoop in the low, down low, listen to the show, cause Milk said so. Fuck what you heard, better act like you know. It's the Premium Pete Show.
Hey, Tez, welcome back to another episode of the Premium Pete Show. And I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again. Finally, sitting down with my guy, CONS.
Yo.
The legendary Consequence. Yo, I always tell people about the follow-up, and I don't think they understand the follow-up. And I'm going to explain to you and the people listening.
Okay.
You hit somebody. Like, I know Cons for a while, man. And you hit somebody, they're busy. Or I'm busy.
Right.
Or the schedules don't work.
Yeah.
If you don't follow up, shit never happens.
That's a fact of life.
So, like I had to follow up a couple of times with Cons, but I wanted, I enjoyed, we sat down before,
right.
But I enjoyed his story. I enjoy his journey. I enjoy him as a father, you know what I mean? Like as a fellow father,
right.
Watching you grow up your kid and be like an agent, like we're calling you Agent Dad from now on. But, Cons, what's up, man?
What up?
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, now, what's new in the world of Consequence, man? What's new?
Where should we start?
Anywhere, man. Pick it. We'll bounce around. Pause.
Since the last time we talked, we've had the Tribe album.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the Grammy snub.
Mm-hmm.
We've had I actually saw each other at ComplexCon.
That's true. Let me tell you something. That booth was crazy, bro. First of all,
I literally took that. I took that out removed that from my brain and put it onto Illustrator.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That was my first. I'm actually the president of the president of ATCQ Merchandise and Apparel.
Okay, nice.
So my first official endeavor, outside of our tour merch was doing ComplexCon. So it was
How was
a
it
thing
for you?
that came. It was really really intense. It came together, at the 24th hour. But as you know, I spoke on My Beautiful Dark Twisted fantasy panel with Rick Ross and Noah. And congratulations to Noah.
Yeah, no, that Def Jam.
Mike Dean, Malik Yusuf, and Salida Ebanks.
Woo.
And in the midst of that, we were coming up with the next, what the next wave of the apparel would be, and I just spoke to Ali, just so we have clarity. So Ali Shahi Muhammad, QTip, and Phife's widow Deisha Taylor are the owners of ATCQ merchandise and apparel. So I spoke to them and I was like, I think we need to jump in. We need to jump in with the big fish. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because as you saw, and for those who've never been to Complex Con is, if you're from New York, Complex Con is the Black Expo on steroids. Mm.
It was on steroids. First of all, I just want to give people an example of, I pull up on you in your booth. Right. You and Ali you hear me? My fucking Ali Shaheed. I pull up on you, and the booth's moving. There's people in the booth, dope setup. And I'm talking with Ali, kicking it with him. I haven't seen him in a little bit. I'm kicking it with you. Usher pulls up right behind me. Right. He's trying to grab his shirt. Right. And, it's funny, too. It's like sometimes I really enjoy the culture for that, meaning like how organic shit is. Right. Right. I mean, you definitely shout out to Usher. Who else was there? What's his name?
Raphael Sadiq.
Yes.
Steve Aoki. Bentley came, Farnsworth Bentley came through. Ivan Jasper came through. Emory Jones stopped through. We had a litty. We had a litty, and like I said, for our first endeavor to go head up with Puma was right across from us, and we did great. We had a great showing. We had a great engagement for the whole weekend, and it was dope. It was dope. Like I said, it was it was so many heads out there, and just to be able to like really, have our own corner, and it was just like so many people were just coming over like, man, I just came for the music. I just want to hear some Tribe shit. You know what I mean? So it was dope.
You think about a Tribe Called Quest, legendary, iconic, you know what I mean? Like now they say there's no more tours going to happen, right? Is that true? Like is there no more?
As of right now, yeah, we well, you have to understand from a personal standpoint, Phife is gone. Phife died.
Rest in peace.
You know what I mean? So, we had a great run over the summer. But it's hard, it's hard. Obviously it's harder for like Tip and Jerobi and Ali than it is for me.
Why do you say that for?
Because of their history, you know what I mean? Like I have my history differs than the rest of the group, obviously. Like they all started together. So, when you go through those kind of trials and tribulations, I came along later. I'm younger. I came along later. I've had my own travels. So my entire creative isn't solely emerged in Tribe from a rapper standpoint.
Sure. You have a bunch of things.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But for them, that's, they've all spawned, and done, Phife put out a few solo projects. Ali did Lucy Pearl. He's worked with Quincy Jones at a label. Jerobi left the group early and went into culinary arts. So, but they're...
Chef Jerobi,
chef to the left.
Yo, I got to cut you off just for 1 second. Obviously everybody knows that Phife and QTip, which is your cousin, right, and we'll get into more, had their differences.
Correct.
Do you believe that QTip got a chance to reconcile any of that before he passed? And the reason why I say that and ask you that for is because, I guess I'll get a little personal, but, it's like, I don't know how much you know about Combat is been diagnosed with cancer.
I do know.
He's fighting for his life, man.
Right.
Real talk. And,
right.
we spent many, many years together, and then for like 1 year, we went our different ways,
Right.
and we didn't talk for like a year.
Right.
And I don't know, like now, to be honest with you, man, I've been like beating myself up because I'm like, damn, man, like this guy is fighting for his life, and I lost a lot of time, and there may not be a lot of time, and I don't know. I just, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not sure if you seen that or heard that from him. Like,
I mean, well, obviously, like, look, it was a point with Phife that I had to call Charlemagne when he was doing Wendy Williams' show, because Wendy Williams was saying Phife had AIDS. And I had to call and say, yo, look, not for nothing, you're incorrect. That's vicious. That's our family.
Oh, you mean Charlemagne was saying that?
No, Wendy was saying it.
Oh, Wendy was saying that.
Charlemagne
Okay.
had me call in because it was like, a room, and I get it, that's her job, you know what I mean? But for somebody who's going through dialysis and kidney initiatives, it's a really rough time. It's hard, like it's not easy living. It's not an easy living at all.
Sure.
So, any internal disease, like you said with Reggie, like, I saw it for myself. I saw you guys, 1 minute it was the dynamic duo, and then it went left somewhere, you know what I mean? And that happens in business, but obviously that's your friend. Your chemistry evolved because of your friendship.
Sure.
And so the same thing is with QTip and Phife. I mean, I can't speak for QTip; he's his own man.
Of course.
But I'm sure that there's there's multiple tiers of emotion, and so when you have developed what they developed as a group and a camaraderie and a friendship and a brotherhood, and you wake up and then it's altered, it's gone. I mean, that's tough. It's tough.
Let's take it back for people who may not even know who Consequence is. Say somebody's listening to this and doesn't know. You grew up where?
In Queens.
Grew up in Queens.
It's Queens all day.
Mom and dad?
Yeah, I wasn't a surrogate.
No, maybe you didn't grow up with both your parents.
I mean, yeah, I was, product of the environment, 70s parents, so they stay together, they break up, they, things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, grew up in Queens and in California, went back and forth.
Really?
Yeah.
Why California?
Yeah, my father was in the military. So,
okay, nice. So you were like a military brat?
In a sense, not really. Military brat, but my grandfather was one of the biggest number runners in Harlem. So,
really?
Yeah. So everybody, like if you ask Cardan, and a lot of people came to his funeral. His name was Slim. So it's unique, unique upbringing, and so yeah. So
what about moms? What did moms do?
My mom worked for the post office.
Okay.
Yeah, she works for the post office. So they both had the way back then was to get a government job.
Sure.
Yeah.
You growing up, obviously you have QTip is your cousin, so there is some artistry you've seen later on. But
right.
When did you even think that, was it young, teenager, that you wanted to rap or do anything in the sense of artistry?
I always had my finger on a creative pulse, whether it was dancing, whether it was drawing, It's funny, because my dad has seen the clothes, and he's like, he sent me a text like, man, I'm really so glad to see you back into your art. And that was a thing for me when I was a kid. I was really to draw a lot. I even went to high school for majoring in commercial art. So I always kind of had a vision for creative.
So, like, when you wanted to, when was the first time you even think about that? Like, you spit a verse or spit some bars, or even like.
Well, I started rhyming, started rapping. What happened was a friend of mine who was like, we were like, you know, you have your block crew or whatever. Mm-hmm. So one of my guys, his older brother rapped, and his older brother got murdered. His older brother was this was like 89. His brother name was Lamont, and he was like just starting out as a drug dealer, but he rapped, and he got murdered in an alley. They left his body in the alley. What happened was my friend took his rap book and began to mimic his rapping, because that was like they had they had maybe like 7 siblings, so these two were like the closest in sibling. Like my friend, he was like maybe like the second youngest. So it was like his sister, his youngest sister, him, then Lamont, then older sister, older brother, older sister, older brother. It was like I said, it was like 7 or 8 of them. Damn. Then my grandmom died of cancer, and so it kind of like I saw it being his therapy, but I just ain't have anybody to take rounds from, so it was like I just had to kind of start. I didn't have a baton.
Did you have a name? Did you?
Yeah, yes.
What was it?
You would never hear that out of my mouth. But
come on,
absolutely not.
Bun said his first name was Stormtrooper.
That's good.
Bunny, like something.
Well,
a bunch of shit.
Well, I'll tell you this. We're gonna go to the first remedial name, but so what happened was, after doing like some thought to it, I came up with Consequence. But then,
why?
Because I felt like, from my viewpoint, consequence meant the result of actions or things that you see, or, So I felt like me rapping was a result of the things that I was encountering and seeing, living life in Queens, and mourning my grandmother, and coming up in the household that I came up in, and then as time moved on, I had my own little crew, and so they started calling me Ray Tip or Razor Tip.
Razor Tip,
right? It was like a Reza Rakim thing or whatever. Okay. It was like, before the Wu though, because this is like 92, 91, before I knew about the Wu. So I was like Ray Tip on the strength of obviously of QTip.
Sure.
So like even then, when Tips first started really ushering me into the game, he says on the Craig Mack remix, No Name Ray Tip, what's going on, love? And we coming through, rug. So that was like a shout. That was like him shouting me out or whatever.
Sure.
When shout outs were like golden.
You don't think shout outs are golden anymore?
I'm past it. But it was like, for me, it was like, Q-Tip is saying my name on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Cousin or not, he's like Q-Tip that has Low End Theory and yeah, well, Low End and Midnight, all 3 albums was out. You know what I'm saying, at the time. So it was like, it was like a big deal. Did
Q-Tip take you serious as being an artist? Like, did he believe you were nice? Like, did he keep it 100 with you?
It was a process.
You mean to let you in? You think it
was just a process. It was just a process. No. It was because it was a process with him embracing me as an artist. I mean, he was, he had his own artistry. He had, he was definitely like one of the top producers in New York. So, and a lot of people were competing for his ear at the time. You had Busta,
Sure.
who was, coming through often to his crib. Hurricane, it was a lot. Hurricane Gloria, I remember Hurricane Gloria was, large. Nas, he just was around the time when One Love had kicked. He had done One Love. I was in the studio when he did One Love. He brought me to that session.
Take us through. You can't just walk past something like that in hip hop. Take us through that night. Like, how was it in there? What was the atmosphere?
Well, it wasn't actually at night. It was daytime. So this was like the first. So ancient scroll. Really quick. So this is a different time in New York City, and it's a different time in my life. I'm maybe 17 around that time. I'm still in high school. So for me as somebody in high school, 10th grade, 11th grade, something like that, going to Manhattan is
it's a big
quite
deal.
different than when I came here today.
But right. Sure.
So it's like a thing, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna bring you to the city with me. I'm gonna be in the studio with this kid, Nasty Nas. You heard about him, right? I'm like, yeah. That's the dude who be saying all the blasphemous shit, right? But he was nice though. Like it was, we didn't have blogs back then. It was, you hear mixtapes and you hear
Sure.
you it wasn't even Clue yet. It was Kid Capri. It was a host of other DJs. And he was like the talk in high school. Like when I was in high school, I remember that because he was like Nas was like the new guy on the street. Where it was just like, yo, this dude Nas, he be saying he gonna snuff Jesus and yo, boo, 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 boo. And like that. This is like I said, this is before trolling and Instagram and any of that. So he's just like, yo, it's a guilty pleasure. It's like I don't want to hear it because I'm a faithful servant of God, but I really want to hear what this crazy dude is talking about because I keep hearing about it.
You're in 11th grade.
Right.
You're sitting in this room.
Right. Wait. So then boom. So like I said, so then Tip was like, yo, so yeah, I'm gonna do a joint for him. And so we go to Battery Studio, and I didn't know that you could order food and shit, and just like, yo, order whatever you want. It's just like, you telling us, it's like, I'm just like,
get a burger with fries, man.
Nah, man, give me chicken parmesan.
Really?
Some shit that I can't get in Queens.
I like that mindset.
Yeah, so we eating and shit, and it's just like, this is like, for me, it's the perception of like, this is the real studio. This is it. This is all the shit that you've been wanting to get yourself into. And, like I'm, at the time, just to backtrack a little bit, like I'm paying for my own studio time with my, with my own bread, whether it's from doing a 1-2 move.
With your crew.
Whatever. Yeah. But
it was
no. Well, see, the thing is, like, I had a crew, but we had like a Wu-Tang setup. So it was like, we were called the High Guys. So two of my friends had actually got I want to say they got it signed to a production deal with JMJ. They were I forgot their group name, but it was my friends Ronnie C and Logic, and they like I said, they got a production deal at JMJ with Jam Master J or whatever. So they had their thing going. I kind of had the connect with Tip, and then we had a couple other of our friends that actually rap. So it was kind of like whoever get in first type of scenario.
Sure.
So like I said, so I was primarily paying for my own studio time though.
So my question to you is this: if you're paying for your own, so you were kind of, and I don't mean to struggle, but kind of had a different setup than what you were seeing that day when Nas was.
Absolutely, that's why.
So it was like you're like, holy shit, this is.
Yeah, this is the big time.
Yeah.
Like like I'm putting my and I'm a kid. Remember,
sure.
You know what I mean? So I'm maybe in a room, maybe a little, maybe to this size, but you know, like Battery has a board of 300 channels, and it's, you know, it's QTip, and it's the room where you can mix and master. So, you know, so for me, I was just like, oh, in awe. And then so Nas comes in, and you know, he's like, yo, what up? You know, really just on some real cool shit. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, like I said, my crew was called the High Guys because that's what we did. We got high, you know what I mean?
Weed?
Yeah. Nothing else, you know.
Hey, listen, at that time, Brisk Ones, Woo Bangers were big too. And plus,
that wasn't big. That was an isolated incident, man. If you was doing dust and all that shit, you was on your own wave, bro. Like, that wasn't like the wave, because you gotta remember, we still in the era of the drug dealer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you outside, you know, running through, because you on dust butt naked, you on dust butt naked looking crazy.
Bro, I'll tell you one thing. At that time, I remember one time in my life I did dust, man, and I swear to God, man, I was fucking... Like, I didn't even know what the hell was going on in the world, man. I was like, I'll never do this shit again. I don't even know how it was possible.
Right. Like, yeah, the worst, I wasn't really never, because I came up with too many drug dealers to really jump past weed with hash. That was it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I was good. I was good. I would drink my drink, do my champagne or whatever. And I, you know, like I was drinking. I started drinking before I started smoking. But I fucked with weed for a little bit. It was cool. It was just like, you know, it made me, you know, when I say made me, I mean, it helped me, I guess, relax and put me into like a really creative space. You know, but I think with me, it ran its course really early.
So you haven't smoked in a while.
Let me get back to the story. So with the Nas situation,
so you got a great memory, man.
So with the Nas situation, there was this spot called Princess Black in Queens. Rest in peace to Princess Black. That sold like the best chocolate tie in the world at the time. So it's funny because he was like, that was like the icebreaker, because he was like, yo, so Nas was like, yo, pardon me for being late, but I had to stop at Princess Black because I really wanted to zone out with you, Tip. So he was like, yo, I got this. And he had like I feel like it was like maybe like an ounce or a QP or some shit like that. So I was like, oh, my man. You know what I mean? So like we smoked about, like, I feel like we definitely smoked like 5 blunts, and honestly, 1 L by itself would have me for good. Like, I'm high for like hours. So he just like rolling, blowing, rolling. I'm like, and now remember, I ordered chicken parmesan. I'm fucking finished. So I'm on the board. It's girls coming in. I'm sleeping shit. High. But then he goes in the booth. And I remember him just like, when he started rapping, I was just like, yo, oh shit. Because I just heard like, what up, kid? I know shit is rough doing your bed. When the cops came, you should have slid to my crib. Fucking Black, no time for looking back. It's done. Plus, congratulations. I heard you had a son. I heard he looks like you. Why don't your lady write you? Told her she should visit. That's when she got hyper. Talking about he asked too rough. I was just like, yo.
Nasty.
Yo. You know what I mean? Because I guess the preconceived notion of, you know, the first offerings had kind of put me in a space. But when I heard One Love, when I heard the rap of One Love, I was like, yo, he's really, this shit is it's crazy.
Nas is the one. You know, you think about you're a young kid. You're in the studio. Tip, Nas laying down a legendary track, right? Did you ever think that was going to be...
Remember, Nas is young, too.
Yeah.
Nas is not... Me and Nas are, like, in the same age group. Tip is older than us, but... So he's, like... It's crazy, because he's, like, maybe, like... If I'm, like, a junior in high school, he's probably, like... He would have been, like, the equivalent to, like, a freshman, or... I want to say, like, a freshman or a sophomore in, like, college and shit.
Okay. So
it's kind of like... And that, back then... had it, and you know, like I'm not a kid right now, so I don't know how that leveling works. But I know for back then it was kind of like, obviously you would, he's in a place where you would see yourself 2 years down the line. You know what I mean? Like he's out of school and he's like I said, at that college age where, you kind of could still mess with like a high school senior,
sure,
or you could have a little bit of an older woman and shit.
Sure.
So it's just a different, it's a different swag. You know what I mean? And so it make, for somebody like me, I just always been like a student, so I would just always have taken notes on things like that.
I mean, and you had the influences to see and to be around. You
Right.
talk about being in studio as a young kid with Tip, Nas. Now you look at it later on with Kanye. There's so many people you've been in the studio with.
Right.
But take us through what it is like being in the studio with Kanye. Are there certain like,
I mean, well, that's a different level. That's a different outlook, rather, because with Kanye, it was more of the role was a little bit reversed because I had been in rap, so I was more
advanced
is definitely from. Definitely at the time when we met lyrically, because I had already been on records. So I had a different experience to offer. Whereas he was at the moment, one of the top
producers,
5-10 producers out.
Trying to
expand his brand into being an MC.
Sure.
I mean, which he had already on a notoriety scale. He had been rapping. He had already been rapping. He actually, I want to say he had had a deal on the table with Jermaine Dupri's father, and he said something like, I think he hit Jermaine off or something in the meeting and went belly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to quote it because I don't remember. It's been such a long time. It was but it's like a story though. It's like a story to it. But yeah, when I met Kanye, it was, for me, it was definitely a ill time. 9/11 had just happened in New York. I was supposed to sign a deal with Raucus at the time, and I had a group, but it fell through. So I was essentially out of work at the time.
As an artist.
Did
you know what?
I had gone back into the private sector before that. And that's where the spaceship verse actually comes from. Like my verse in Spaceship is real. Like I
always told you it's one of my favorite.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So for the internet's listening at home, hit them with so they understand.
Pete, I'm gonna have to charge you. That's 2 raps. I remember having to take the dollar cab coming home real late at night, standing on my feet all damn day trying to make this thing right. And having one of my co-workers say, yo, you look just like this kid I seen in the old Busta Rhymes video the other night. Well, easy come, easy go, how that saying goes. No more broad service cars and the TV shows. It all had got snatched from me. A&Rs and they faculties all turned their backs on me and didn't want to hear a rap from me. So naturally, actually, had to face things factually. Had to be a catastrophe. If the fridge is staring back at me, cause nothing's there, nothing's fair, and I don't want to ever go back there. So I won't be taking no days off till my spaceship takes off. I mean, my verse was just like everything I said in that shit was 100, no embellishment at all.
Where were you when you laid that track? Were you with Kanye?
I actually wrote I think I wrote the verse in Queens. I wrote the verse in Queens, but originally Spaceship was GLC's record for his solo project. And what happened was GLC wanted to do a record with me. We just had met. He was like, yo,
Church.
Right, on the move. And this was before Church was on the move. This was like when literally, I want to say, I don't know how many times he had been in New York at that point, but this was the beginning of the Chicago team coming to New York.
Sure.
Obviously Kanye came first. Then his mom started coming out, and then Dawn C and Manap had caught a crib out here. And then shortly after that, GLC started coming out. So, you know, I think Kanye had told him about me coming by and writing and so forth and so on. And so he was like, yo, I really want to do a record with you, Consequence from Tribe. You know what I'm saying? So the funny thing about Spaceship is that if, you know, it's funny because it's not like a typical, it is a typical Consequence record, but it isn't in the sense that the attack of it, like GLC rhymes completely different than I do.
Sure, of course.
From a cadence standpoint. So for me, it was like, I guess, cadence-wise, it was like my attempt at like rapping like a Midwest rapper.
A little fast too, you know what I mean?
Right. But
Twister type style?
Right. But it was just my interpretation of it. But people really...
What did Kanye say when he heard that shit?
He put it on his album.
No, of course. But I'm saying, what was his response to you?
This is going on my album. Like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was supposed to be on the College Dropout. He was going to put both at one point. But then it was a situation with because the thing with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is that record caught for us first in New York. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly caught, then Through the Wire caught, and then Slow Jams caught. But Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Enough had been playing it every day. So, you know, Rockefeller kind of was like, you know, Rockefeller at the time didn't know what to do with Kanye. They didn't have him on a scoreboard. And it's understandable because they had machine guns. Beams was like just coming off the war with Jadakiss.
Sure,
and like, you know what I mean? Like, State Property had Flip Side out and Rock the Mic out, and Cam and them was like, and you know, and everybody, and the thing was like everybody had a clique. You know what I mean? So with Kanye, it was the way they got introduced to him was he was Dolo. So then fast forward a couple months, then I start coming around. But then you can't automatically click me with Kanye if you Jay, because you been seen me.
Sure.
You Damon, them niggas is like, oh, word, this shit, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Because, you know, obviously I had a track record.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it did, but what it did do for Kanye, you know, he had me around. He, you know, he was working with Kweli, he was working with Most. So it put him, it was like he was Rockefeller. He was like, he had everything that the Rockefeller, the image of Rockefeller from a monetary standpoint gave artists. But then he had like this subculture going on that was like connected to raucous, essentially. You know what I mean? And it's funny because we, you know, at one point, you know, like I said, I had a situation at raucous, so I have been dealing with A&R by the name of Ali S for a while, you know, and it was like, you know, it's funny, you know, and obviously Ali is cool, Ali S is cool, so it's not a shot, but you know, it's like, it's vision. You gotta have vision. I remember it was a couple dudes that were just like, oh man, boo, about Kanye. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know,
I just didn't believe in him.
I mean, they said worse shit than that to me.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm not going to get into
that.
No,
I don't mean, I'm not
they
trying
were
to start.
wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but not even to start. You're wrong. So I'm not gonna put wrong information into
You ever see them again after?
Absolutely. These niggas ask for tickets and all that shit. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And the thing is, like, you know, one thing about the music business is like, it's like you almost allowed to play yourself if you on a certain side of the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I was at Complex Con and a motherfucker who had said something about me 6 months ago was in the booth and actually got gifted with a hoodie. And I was sitting there like, word. You know what I mean? But, you know, the thing is like, what can I do? Why would I do anything when you win my shit?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing for me to do but be me right now. I scored. You know, and it took me a long time to even learn that
the mentality.
Philosophy.
Okay, philosophy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, nobody teaches you how to acquire thick skin. You know, and thick skin is something that you have to acquire. These are like the things that I teach my son. You know what I'm saying? Because these are real life in the field things that you have to have an understanding of to push through. You know what I mean? But yeah, nobody teaches you thick skin. You don't learn, you know, unless like I said, like thick skin, the theory of thick skin is something that you would have to teach your son. Otherwise, through trial and error, your son might fuck around and catch a body.
True. You know, it's crazy too, because your relationship with Kanye has been all over the place. And what I mean by that is like,
nah, we've had a storied history, man.
Well, yeah, you had ups and downs, yeah. But the main thing I want to know is, why do you think, and this ain't nothing against you, meaning like, you know, you're both super talented. Why do you think that you were able to get past everything and he still keeps you around? I don't mean that as like keeping you around, meaning like he whenever he does an album,
because I'm valuable.
Okay, but why? I'm saying, why would you say that? Writing, is it?
Because I have a resource. I have a resource that when tapped into, generally speaking, when tapped into correctly, it's embraced by the world. And I have several examples of that. And you know, I think the only thing that, you know, that has eluded me in my career is just like one successful commercial LP totally by me. And, you know, fortunately enough, I'm alive, so that's something that's in the works. But yeah, I've been a great component to successful ventures, you know. And so it's funny because he said to me maybe a year ago, like Quince, man, I don't know when it's gonna be, but one day you're gonna be like one of the most successful executives ever, because you understand how to deal with people. Like I don't, you know, like, because he, you know, his thing is like you understand how to deal with me and to get me to do something that I probably wouldn't do, which is a skill set. And you do that with many people. Like I've been able to like you know, like I have records with Kendrick Lamar and I've never met Punch. You know what I mean?
Shouts to Punch.
Yeah, you know, shout out to Punch. Yo, high five to Punch. But you know, and I say that in humility because it's that's a gift. You know, like I've been able to navigate my way through rap in difficult times. You know, like my first album came out in the height of the South, and somehow or another I still was able to like get it out, get it off, get on, not have a label, have my video on TRL, and so, you know. And I'm not saying any of these things that took my horn. It's a survival.
Sure.
It's a survival mechanism. Because where I'm from, you have to survive.
Of course.
You know, and it may not be the same New York now, but it's the New York that I grew up in.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to survive. And I think, you know, if I'm anything, I'm a survivor.
Sure. You know, you do a lot of ghostwriting. You know.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, how does someone get into ghostwriting?
I don't know how you get into it. I know how you get out of it. Nah.
Like, how does someone become one? Like, honestly, like, you know. I guess use you for example. How did you become one? Did someone see that you were ill with the pen?
I would say so. Yeah.
Now,
I mean, cause you got to understand, like, if somebody sees something. Everybody has different aesthetics when it comes to songwriting. You know what I mean? And so my thing is, with the term, I've always said this, and I say like the term ghostwriting is like a privatized version of songwriting, because it leads to the assumption that you didn't deserve or get full credit for what your contribution was. the music business is not really that complex. You write a song, someone produces it, they get a portion of what the publishing is. If there's contributing writers, they get portions. So the ghostwriting, quote unquote, comes into play, in different characteristics. Let's say still DRE, right? With Jay. Jay is the quote. Would you categorize Jay-Z as a ghostwriter for Dr. Dre? Or would you say Jay-Z is in the Songwriters Hall of Fame because one of his contributions to music is writing
But why
Dr. Dre's verses on Still DRE? It's all in how you categorize it.
But people are writers, People like yourself has writing credits out there.
Right.
People like Just Blaze, a DJ producer, has writing credits out there. He wrote part of "Live Your Life" with a bunch of songs.
He's a producer. So that's part of his. That's honestly part of. See, this is where music business gets deep, because there's standard and then there's a lot of times what has occurred in hip hop. So from a so let's take a step back. So like as a producer, right? You have producers and then you have beat makers. Producers are people who see a record from inception of idea to the master. That's a producer. Every sound, they contribute thought to every sound, to every layer of the record, from the top layer to the basic of the beat. Now, a producer doesn't necessarily have to be the beat maker. And most of the time, most young beat makers aren't producers. They make a beat, but they have no clue what to do with it. Honestly, from a song aspect. Now, they made a beat, it's hot, but, do they know how to structure the record? Maybe, maybe not. Do they know how to mix the record? Very few are that diligent. So what winds up happening is, like, if you think about like Puff era, why Puff had so many credits is because he was the liaison for the finished record.
Sure.
So, you had guys that were on the Hitman coming to him with their beats, and he's the one that is structuring the record. He's the one that's saying, all right, well, such and such, loop up this Toomey loop, and then we're gonna go from here. But if it's his idea and he ushered the whole thing through, then obviously, like, if it's an engineer, they might not just be the engineer. I mean, that's your job. It's not like you're not a producer if you do your engineer job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to press the buttons to be the producer.
Sure. It's funny when you look at it like that. Who's some of the people that you ghostwritten for outside of, say, Kanye?
I can't really get into that because it was like some of them.
No, and I'm not asking. You know me, like I'm not like somebody trying to ask you to spill anything.
Right. But
if anything, yeah.
Right, but I mean, just a lot of those relationships are just relationships that where that's for me. That's songwriting, ghostwriting, whatever the case is. It's when I get paid. Part of me receiving the fee is the discretion of it too. So it's like the credit is there, but I'm not. Me saying that puts somebody else's.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. So because
I totally understand.
But I got a long list of motherfuckers, like, and they all famous. You know what I mean? Like, so
are you still doing it to this day?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm producing, I'm songwriting. A whole like sit here and rap, heat somebody else up. I mean, that takes a bag. You know what I'm saying? So I mean. A lot of the things that happened with Kanye from a co-writer or whatever, from a co-writer aspect was a position thing too. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was he had an opportunity by being in the midst. Because remember, our thing started before he even got signed to Rockefeller. We had records.
You mean
together.
Your relationship?
Our relationship, our writing relationship. It started before the deal. It was like and for me, it made sense. It was like, all right, he's in a position where I could get a check. At the time I needed a check. You know what I mean? Like,
was it like a handshake deal?
Yeah, it was basically.
It's still to this day. Even when you didn't you go out to Hawaii when he was doing My Dark Back Just a Fantasy?
Yeah, but I mean, the relationship grew from there though. I mean, it's always, and I mean, when we had our turbulence, those are issues that came up. You know what I'm saying? But
how did you just get past that though? I mean, as brothers, as in this world. And then we spoke briefly about it. But how do you?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. He just got to a point where he called and he was like, "Yo, I love you. I fucked up." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Yo, do you think I ever wanted to have a feud?" You know what I'm saying? But as I've stated before, I'm a survivor. And with Ye, Ye was like, Ye is, for all intents and purposes, that's literally like over the last 10 years, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know everything, he know everything, and and I'm not saying this because I'm Superman, but in a lot of instances, I was the one when we ran through bags. And when trouble came, I was the one. So it really got down to that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a dad now, but this is when I was single. You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, because I mean, come on. I mean, look, we grow.
Exactly,
We're supposed
we evolve.
to grow.
We're supposed to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm a dad. I'm not.
Your
I'm
mindset is
the
different.
only person I'm the one for right now is my kid. I'm the one for Caden. If you ever in life.
Star in the making.
Right, but even before that, I'm his dad. So
sure.
I'm the one. If he ever comes home and tells me anything, I'm the one for that. So back in this era, when me and Kanye, when Spaceship was on, when Spaceship was top 25 songs of the year, and we came back with Late Registration, and we was doing records with Pat LaBelle, I was the one for that nigga. Straight up, like in
when you say the one, what do you mean by that?
Like if the bat line, what I was getting a call, like, yo, I'm over here, and yo, 1, 2, and 3 popping. Word, I'll be right there. I'm the one. I'm the one. And he felt safe in New York.
Yeah.
And so the thing for me was just like,
Cons.
At the end of the day, I want to feel safe.
Sure, of course.
I want security. You know what I'm saying? My security can't be in jeopardy over anything. So if it comes down to that, then I mean, this is the law. The law of the land is self-preservation, bro. I got to. If it's me and you, unfortunately, I'm the one, nigga.
Hey, listen.
But and that's the reason why he loved me though. And the reason why I love him is because at the end of the day, I've never been about anything but progression, and I'll never take this away from Kanye. Like, he showed me the world. He showed me a different side of life. I learned more with Kanye than I learned with my own family, my own blood relatives. You know what I'm saying? Because we had one of the most historical runs in music, bro. Like, it's unquestionable what we did together.
I mean, you're a big piece of the puzzle, man.
I mean, it's funny because people will say when I do interviews, yo, he always talks about Kanye. I really don't. I didn't even bring it up.
No.
It's just it's unescapable history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And me, it's no reason for me not to embrace being a component in modern day Michael Jackson. Why wouldn't I? That check was great. I'm gonna get another one.
Listen, because of his, that's classic. Because of his ego, you feel like you were allowed to keep it 100 with him?
I'm the one.
Okay, there we go.
Ain't no ego. I'm the one. When the ego came, I was still the one. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a brotherhood, man. That's a brotherhood.
But because that was my place in the brotherhood. Like, I was the one. It was always Quince. Like, when it was when this happened or this happened, here comes Quince. So what's up, Quince? And Quince gave it to him straight. No chase.
Because the reason why I say that for is because I don't want to get into fucking names, but I've heard people who kept it 100 with him or told him things that they didn't like in the group, but now they're no longer in the fucking in the circle.
Here's my quote: "Because they wasn't the one."
There we go.
I'm the one.
You know what? You know what? On that note, let's take a quick break. Internets, we're sitting here with my guy, my man, CONS, Consequence. Don't go nowhere.
Queens all day.
We'll be right back. Chit.
Yeah. You got your man Mayhem Loren, a.k.a. Lorenovich, a.k.a. Lorenovici, live from the Premium Pete Show.
Internets, and we're back sitting here with my man, Consequence. Listen, I love that Kanye story. I love the brotherhood. I love how real you keep it. You know, and that goes to say that you obviously overcame so much, you know, and created so much history. Listen, first thing that comes to mind when you think of or hear these songs, Grammy Family.
I was gonna do anything it took to get my album out.
Spaceship.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Spaceship?
When you think of or just hear this song?
I guess the School Spirit Tour.
What about Gone?
Me reaffirming the fact that I write better raps in New York than I do in California.
Why? Why, you think it's laid back?
I don't think now. Look, I wrote Mo Bias in California.
Really?
Yeah, I wrote Mo Bias in California. But I think, you know, for me, just in a moment of clarity and honesty, I had to make an adjustment period when Kanye blew up. Life.
What do you mean by that?
Because literally went from taking a train to like a few months later buying my first Benz. So, you know, for somebody who was eating $3 plates of Chinese food and then have
$1 extra chicken.
Listen, wings was 75 cents, bro. Hey, why don't you try Philippe? Why don't you try a saute stick from Philippe's? It's an adjustment period.
Cause, man, I'm so glad you brought that up because honestly, forget about only just artists or hip hop or shit. In real life, man, that shit is hard to balance. Meaning, like, think about it, like athletes. You're in college,
right?
Some of them not making a lot of money. Next thing you know, there's $500,000 in the bank account every other week.
Right.
You know, honestly,
everybody, and not to sound selfish, but everybody's acting different. You know, and I guess the one thing that you kind of just yearn for is just, and it's selfish because it's like you want everything to be the same, but it's just not gonna happen like that.
So what did you just go with the flow, or you just
when I say different, I'm just saying like, you know, like when I say different, I'm just saying like, you know, now you're somebody who could give that people want, like, yo, can I get $100?
Sure.
I'm starving. I was
starving 2
starving
weeks
last
ago.
calendar.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Maybe not 2 weeks ago, but the last calendar I was starving. So it's a turn. It's a turn in your life, and you know, I always say, man, you know, I guess with me and Caden is
your
different.
son?
Yeah, with my son Caden is different, cause I'm here for his driver's ed through life. God willing, I live. But I just, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, just in hindsight, looking, I'm like, damn, man, I wish my dad would have knew about this shit. You know, he was in the military. You know, he knows about life, but it's just this life is accelerated. It's different, you know. And I learned, and you know, the streets did well by me. You know what I mean? Like, not for nothing. I mean, I had my share of shit, but I learned different defense mechanisms, and I learned how to really read people.
Sure.
And it helped me navigate. That's the thing that navigated
that's
me,
what
because
kept
I didn't even have a navigation system, to be honest with you. Like I said, that's something that really, literally, like, you would need your family to install in you. Like, you know, I think that's, you know, when you look at like hedge fund inheritance and you know, people who inherit companies, and it's not just the fact of the money; they inherit the culture.
Sure.
They inherit the if it's done correctly,
the legacy.
They inherit the decision-making process. That's the legacy.
You've been in the business how many years? Are we going on 20? Are we over 20? What the fuck, 20. Man? Longevity. Let me tell you, I don't remember that many. You having problems with a lot of people. I mean, maybe this fucking. I didn't. No.
Look. I haven't had. And I'm proud to say I haven't had a problem with an artist or a rapper or a label situation in a few years. I've been chilling.
Do you think that like you as being an older artist and being lyrical and into lyrics,
right?
Do you think they took a back seat in this day and age? Like meaning, like how does people?
No. I think in all intelligence, I think that individuals who are doing certain business have propelled. So how can you say J. Cole's on tour? Mm-hmm. He's not a mumble rapper. Mm-hmm. He stays on tour. He makes millions of dollars at this point. I mean,
he's a star.
He's a star. He's in my first. So you can't equate it to lyrical rappers not being able to make money. It's the plays.
Do you think that and this is people in our age group, but do you think that most of them are closed-minded?
Here's a better question for you. Do you think all new generation rappers instantly get rich?
I think it's easier to make money now than it was back in the day, in my opinion.
Listen, let me tell you something. You'll see one of these new artists, and they'll say, "Hey, I got 300,000 streams on Spotify. Look, I made a JPEG that looked like a plaque." Bruh, you only made about 3 stacks. That's not no bread. So
where's bread in music? In this day and age, is it touring?
It's in diverse revenue streams. That's where money is at. There's you depending on one revenue stream for money is only one check. So if you only were getting a check from a record and that's it, then you have to you have to get 20 million streams. That's the only way you're gonna get any real bread. You're not gonna get bread with 100,000 streams because that's not bread. And basically, if you don't have 100,000 streams, you're probably not gonna have 100,000 downloads on Apple on iTunes. So you have to diversify and create the 360 within your own brand to even have a label want to invest in a 360. They have to kind of see that it's moving. You got shows, you're doing Premium Peach, you're doing you're doing SOBs. You're over here at this event and you're being gifted with sneakers, and you're creating a subculture of energy that shows that you can possibly liquefy this into cash. You know what I'm saying? Like not to harp on Joe, but look at Joe at this point. Like if Joe put out a dope record, he'll probably be at the height of his career at this point. If he buckled down, I don't know his scenario, his situation, so I can't speak on it. But if he really put his head into music and was just even for one record, and it was just like the best Joe Buttons ever, he's out. He's out. I don't know if he sees it like that.
Even this day and age.
Bruh, his profile is at an all-time high. There's never, Joe Budden, even when he was on Love and Hip Hop, it wasn't this, because this is rooted in music. For Love and Hip Hop, it wasn't really, it was Casanova Joe, and it didn't really work out to his advantage because at the end of the day, he's not even with none of the women now. He got a baby with Sin coming. You know what I mean? So,
side note, you ever regret doing Love and Hip Hop?
We'll put it like this. I mean, they asked, listen, it was a time. It was a time. I don't really discuss it heavily because it was just a time. I can't say or shit on it because I took the check. You know what I mean? So I can't sit here and be hypocritical of what I've already done. It was a time. They've reached out to me to come by and do other things as of late or whatever. It's based on temperature. The tribe record.
You didn't want to do it?
We tossed it back and forth. But for me, just to keep it real, I just had outgrown the whole
Love and hip hop.
No, just not, because a look is a look. So it is what it is. But just the whole their production process for me is just like I'm getting X, Y, Z for shows. I'm doing this. I run a clothing company. I can't really subject myself to like shit that don't make sense.
You once said that you were like on your third revision of a Love and Hip Hop contract. Do you remember saying that?
Nah, I don't.
Bro, that you didn't keep on redoing the contract when you kept on working with
initially, you mean?
No, well, initially you're on your third revision, yeah, of your first contract, the initial offer, right? Did you take the first offer?
No. Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when I first, but I mean, that's
was that initial offer something that you were comfortable with? I mean, I know you took it, but was that something that
I didn't take the initial offer?
No, the third one. I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was decent bread. Yeah, I mean, but you got to work a deal. That's in anything. You know what I mean? Like that's no, to be fair, that's no slight against them. They made an offer. I counter offered it.
Hey, listen, person who gets the deal is the best negotiator.
So, yeah, so I mean, for somebody who never, if they took the first thing they jumped on, that just showed you either their lack of negotiations or just was thirsty to get on TV, and that's cool, because everybody's not the same person. It's not a one size fits all for fame. So for some people, it's just like, that's the dream. You know what I mean? That's the equivalent of me being in the studio at that time with Nas. You know what I mean? So I'm not, with separation, the one thing about Love and Hip Hop is that it definitely makes you hyper competitive. It's any of the reality shows it's more hyper competitiveness than your actual life. Like even you giving your life, you making your storylines in a hyper competitive aspect for camera time.
You as we wind this episode down, you've been involved in so many things. I mean, I can't even fucking cover them all. You know what I mean? But
right.
But let's go over this. Is what I want to know, because people don't take time to appreciate things that happen in their journey. The next thing you know, it's fucking 20 years later. Can you believe how fucking fast it's gone? Honestly, has it been long or is fast?
It's funny. I this is one I always think of my guy agent when I think of this scenario. One day my guy agent had called me and he was like, "Yo, Cons, you know what? We don't celebrate enough." And it's always stuck with me when that he said that, and I think like you said, it flies by so fast, and it's a catch-22 because you can't get caught up. Well, you can get caught up, but I've tried not to get caught up in looking at the accolades or looking at the achievements in order to achieve more.
Sure.
So, but as I get older, and especially like having Caden now, is I try to see things from his viewpoint in his eyes, and just take a second to breathe sometimes, and just really embrace the moment, because that's the reason why I brought him to Complex Con. I was like, there's no way I don't want to share this with him.
Sure. Let him recognize that. Dealing with Tribe, dealing with fucking Kanye, having your own fucking career, bro. You're a diversified fucking artist. But let's start going over. I just want you to just shoot them off. I don't want you to think about one. What are some of your highlights? What are some of your most memorable moments from all these fucking years, Cons?
Don't have
to be one. Keep
yeah. No, I mean, definitely. Definitely one that always comes to mind is obviously working with Beyonce. Winning a BMI award for that.
What'd you work with on?
On a party record from the 4 album.
Okay.
It went #1 at Urban Radio. Got nominated for a Grammy. And I wanted, like I said, I won a BMI award for it. So that was special. You know, it came out right before Caden was born, and actually, it coming out and us settling everything was one of the things that kind of glued me and Kanye back together. Because it just didn't make sense to fight.
You mean working with Beyonce?
Well, just the records, the success of the record. Because we did it together. That record was originally going to be on my album that him and QTip were scheduled to produce at the time. So, you know, like that's one. There's so many, man. I mean, just to be honest with you, I mean, you know, and just in
like you know what I want to hear? I want to hear like you know, sometimes artists you get in the light. You know what I mean? And what's a moment where you're like, holy shit, I did this, or it made you happy or excited, or fucking.
You know what was? I go way back to Beach Rhymes of Life, because I think for those kind of moments, it's when you first start, the level of excitement is multiplied because you're not jaded.
Sure.
I remember doing when Stressed Out came out, and you know, like it was a really big record. You know, this is radio, this is mechanicals, this is like shit is on vinyl, shit is on tapes. So we actually performed on Moesha.
Moesha, classic.
Yeah, we performed on Moesha. There was a 2-part special that had Tribe, Blackstreet, Debbie Tribe and Blackstreet. I want to say Queen Pen was on it too. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Damn.
But so we did Stressed Out, and I'll never forget, man. We was on stage taping, and Brandy came out of her dressing room, and it's funny because she was, you know, watching the performance, and you know, I naturally assumed that if anybody had her eye, it would be QTip because he was the face of the group. Sure. You know, he got beneath the apple bum. A bit, you know, chicks was with it. Sure. But as we were performing, like, I noticed her looking at me a lot, and I was like, nah, can't be. And lo and behold, after we finished performing, man, she introduced herself to me, and we talked for a while. She's cool. She was cool. I mean, it never developed into anything else, but she, you know, like kind of, you know, she was feeling the kid. It was funny. It was like Tip was like, oh shit, you know, I mean, because that's like my cousin and shit at that moment. He's just like, oh shit, yo, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we was like talking, and, you know, just, you know, she gave me a nice hug on the way when we left, and, you know, it was cool. I should have followed up. It was cool. I mean, but, you know, such is life. But that was one, because it was like she was Moesha at the like
the height, yeah. At
the height, like at the height, the check was good, everything was great, like, and it was like I came back to Queens. I was like, man, y'all ain't gonna believe it, man. Moesha was on me, son.
Bragging about that shit, yo.
Forever. I mean, it's a brag.
Of course. How's your relationship with
Jay-Z? He cool. I mean,
do you think he respects your artistry? You know, because sometimes people you don't get a chance to hear that thing from people.
I've known Jay-Z since the Gavin in 1996. That was the first time he ever said what up to me. You know what I mean? And he always told Kanye that I was the sleeper cell. He was like, he's the one. Like he you know, he got the relationship. And you know, he actually, to keep it real, you know, it was, you know, he was involved with me in Kanye's feud.
Really?
Yeah. But
you mean the reason why, or he helped?
Well, no, not the reason why. No. Well, not the reason why, because it wasn't me and Kanye. But you know, him and Kanye, this is the same time they're doing Watch the Throne, so he's, you know, they're talking.
Sure.
But he definitely was like, you know, because we had business. We had the Beyonce record. Beyonce's his wife. he is the one who told Kanye to play it for me to let me know that they were doing it in the first place. So we went through our things in private or whatever. But he definitely was the guy who said, "All right, look, blah 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 blah." Sent the order out for me to get my bread, and just was like, "Yo, we gotta handle this." In a different manner. And, I had a rebuttal to that because I've been around him, and I was, my thing was just like, or who, whatever the scenario was at the time, like my rebuttal was definitely like, look, with me and Jay, it's a little different because you're from New York. You know what I'm saying? So we understand that culture, like it's crazy because, when in hindsight, I'm sure he's probably, look, he's even said, I dodged the karma that came as a consequence on Family Feud. I'm not. Yeah, I am. Because I know what I know. You know what I'm saying? And inspiration comes in different forms. So the thing is, he and he's cool shit. He cool. Like, and like I said, I think when he went through what he went through with Kanye, I'm sure he had to think for a second, like, now I kind of get with their situation, potentially how it potentially arose just from their dealing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that in with any tone because Kanye is like my man. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like Kanye's my man. How, or I'm in that scenario, I'm Kanye's man. How Tata is Jay man.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So me and Kanye, we have our talks or whatever. But I mean, just as two guys from New York, me and Jay. And from the era that we from, like I said, I met Jay-Z in '96 at the Gavin when I first joined Tribe. So we are essentially dudes from. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. I'm from Queens. He's from Brooklyn. Coming off the street into the music business. You know what I'm saying? So those principalities of survival and principle, and ethics are our driving forces.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think. In that sense, we have that in common. But look, title, anything. Look, I've always, honestly, to be completely 100, even when I left Elektra, at one point, Jay and Dame wanted to sign me to Rockefeller. And this was way before Kanye. This is '97. You know what I'm saying? They told Tip they were interested in doing it. They wanted to do it. They wanted us to do some new records. Me and Tip, like the Tribe was breaking up, so I never followed through with it going through Tip at the time because I knew everything that was going on with the Tribe. The Love Movement was coming. It was the end.
So that's why you never fell through. I mean, never followed through with it because of that?
Well, yeah, essentially because the pecking order at the time, for me, like I left. I asked to leave Elektra because my first project, because I had a solo project coming out after Beach Rhymes of Life. It wasn't like I was signed. So it wasn't like a situation where it was just like I did Beach Rhymes of Life and it was like nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's records on YouTube from that time period with me and Havoc and me and SWV that never came. So it never came out. So to be honest, I was a little discouraged. I was still a kid. You know what I'm saying? So when that opportunity came, I didn't jump on it immediately. And I just kind of I left Tribe for a little bit and just started to venture out on my own because I just felt like I didn't get for what I did on Beach Rhymes of Life my just due. And I think anybody else in my position could understand. Like I said, it went from Moesha on me to I'm not sure if we're gonna put this out or not. And so I didn't really understand that language at the time. So I just was like, yo, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go try this my way. Because essentially,
any regrets from that?
I mean, no. I mean, not regrets. I mean, life would have been different if it would have came out and been successful. I mean, I don't know. You wouldn't have got Spaceship Verse, probably.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just in all honesty, like, if that would have took off, then I wouldn't have met Kanye in the same capacity.
Sure.
Or
been this close to him. You know, people like.
But that's one. Oh, go ahead.
No, okay. That's what
I was gonna say. But when you speak of longevity, those are the trials that I passed.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was a time when I gave up on music. I was just like, yo, that's why the Spaceship versus 100 is no embellishment. It's just like, I was working at a job, and literally, like, if you listen to my first album and you hear the job song, like, everything I'm saying is 100. Like, there was the thing that pushed me to get back in the music business was I was literally a security guard in Banana Republic, and Hype Williams walked in. And I was like, oh, shit. And he was like, yo, what's up with Tip? What's good? You all right? And I was just like, I'm all right. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. He was like, yo, come to a hotel. I'm shooting some shit. Because I was like, Hype paid me just to chill on a set of Belly for 4 days with him. You know what I'm saying? Just when he was shooting and shit. So me and Hype had kept a great relationship from the time I did Woo-Ha, because he's from my neighborhood. So he would always invite me to shit. Came to hate, come fuck with me on a Hate Me Now joint, Quince. Come to Belly, man. This shit's gonna be crazy. Strippers in the tunnel. You know what I mean? So when I saw him and he saw me, and then I saw June, I was just like, fuck. And I was trying to go on break and shit. And that's what inspired Don't Quit Your Day Job. Like,
did you just leave that job?
Just that pain. I walked the fuck out of there when I got out. I was like, I gotta figure something. That shit was the most painful shit to my pride, probably.
You mean from being an artist and then going to have a regular job?
No, having a regular job and Hype Williams walking in. It wasn't a regular job. I could cope with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always had that kind of gravity. I could cope with saying I failed at music. I could cope with it. I couldn't cope with somebody in music.
But what do you consider failure if you say that?
Just back in the private sector. And it's all psychology. It's just psychology. It was just because it was never like the crazy shit is, like, at that time, that was nothing, but I was young. I didn't have any wisdom. Because I've been blackballed and got back in music. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, I wasn't even blackballed. I never dissed Tip or no shit like that, or dissed the Tribe. And the Tribe never, like, cut me off and shit. It was just that it didn't go. It wasn't go. When I had the first deal, I didn't work the first deal the way I should have. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the knowledge. I had the reliance on Tribe. That they were gonna do it because I was signed to them, but they're breaking up and shit. And like I said, that's why I said I didn't even go through with the attempting to go to Rockefeller, because the structure of Tribe at the time was crumbling.
Sure, it was trickling
like,
down. And
I was like the walls was crumbling around me. So it made sense for me to go my way, and then like I said, and that's my journey. So I guess this was part of my journey, and I think when I saw Hype in there, it was just like, and it's funny because I just, when I saw Hype, I Hype is a benchmark in my life, because depending on when I see Hype, we never said anything, and it's funny because he'll test it. We've never said anything out loud about that moment, but I remember we was in LA, and he's like, "Yo, you are fucking amazing, nigga." He shot Whatever You Want. He shot the video for it. He was like, yo, because it's like, it's unspoken with us. He's like, he saw me. We spoke. It wasn't, I didn't have time to run. I didn't have time to huddle with myself and figure out a way to play it. It was just a moment of brutal honesty. And that's why Spaceship is what it is, because it's that the unsung energy in Spaceship is the brutal honesty. It's brutally honest. It sounds good, but listen to what I'm saying. I remember having to take the dollar van, coming home real late at night, standing on my feet all damn day trying to make this thing right. So and not to annotate what I'm saying before we leave, but just so you can get it annotated, like, I remember having to take the dollar van, coming home real late at night. So number one, there's already you starting with the brutal honesty of struggle. You don't have a car. You're taking a dollar van. After being on TV. Remember, Spaceship comes after me being in Tribe. So this is me saying, I remember having to take the dollar van, coming home real late at night, standing on my feet all damn day. Most security guards work 12-hour shifts for $7, $8. So you on your feet all day in a fucking monkey suit, and you watching most of the time these people, you know, I remember Barbara Walters walking in the Chanel, and you know, I'm a hood nigga. I'm like, damn, man, fucking book this bitch. I wasn't gonna rob Barbara Walters, but I'm just saying, you're in a mind state of, you know, of your ceiling there's no hope at this particular moment, and it's all psychological, because at any given point, you know, having the wisdom that I have now, I could have made many different decisions, you know what I mean? But it was all psychological, you know, like I said, that is one of the reasons why I'm with my son so hard, because when you are encountered with forks in the road, you know, it's very important to it which way you go determines which way you go.
Sure. Who did you have? You know, we're winding on this episode. I know you got to run, but who did you have to help you through that shit? Did you ever ask anybody? Because
I mean, just my moms. Honestly, just my moms was just, and I mean, you know,
your gut?
She did. It was my gut, because she did the best she could. But I mean, you know, she had her own things that she had shaken, and you know, like at that point I became grown, and you know, my mom, she didn't, you know, she had, you know, our family structure, eventually, you know, they divorced, and you know, she was single, and you know, we're in lower middle class part of Queens, and so, you know, she couldn't fund the dream.
Sure.
You know, especially coming off of a situation where it looked like the lick got fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And when there's no blueprint, then there's no way to make a proper decision on how you carry this thing through. You got to go with your gut. You know what I'm saying? So at one point, like I said, her gut was like, man, honestly, I just, you know, you should just get a job. You know, I was getting BMI checks and shit.
And working a regular job.
Well, before the regular job, I was getting BMI checks.
No, I'm saying
let me tell you what rappers do. What rappers do, especially like in the 90s, we probably, you know, I know for me, it was just, you know, and in hindsight, you know, I wish I would have saved that money, but it's like you getting these checks in the mail, it's like $4,000, just, all right, I got $4,000, keep me going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting no job. I got just $4,000 coming in the mail. But then, like, so let's say the first check is 20, and then it's 12, and then it's 8, and then it's 4, and then it's 500, and you know what I mean? And then that's when it's like the well is literally running dry.
Sure.
You know, you had the hit record, and it, you know, it put you in a space where you didn't have to work, but now you've exhausted all those funds and haven't done anything to build on that, you know. So, because essentially your royalties should be your 401k. Those are things that you should save. You know what I mean? If you catch a hit record, you shouldn't be living off of that. You know what I mean? But once again, this is the knowledge. So, like I said, so with the job scenario, it literally becomes like, I remember having to take the dollar cab coming home real late at night, standing on my feet all damn day trying to make this thing right, and having one of my coworkers say, yo, you look just like, I'm saying I have coworkers in a rap. So I'm literally was at work, and it was around this time of the year, and MTV was doing that, you know, maybe, yeah, it was around this time of the year, so I'm trying to get like overtime, get
holiday money.
Yeah. And I'm in the Woo-Ha video on MTV the night before I go into work. And it's already like, you know, every artist, when they touch that, when they, you know, if you've been in the position I was in, maybe a little less, or maybe more, you have like a glow around you. Niggas know what your face look like. I know I seen you before, like, and it was like I was kind of like in that in between spot where it was like I was in obscurity enough to kind of wing it, but like I said, you have reoccurring things that were like stressed out or come out for nowhere. Take it back. Let's take it back to this tribe shit real quick, and it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And I literally came in and I was like carpooling to go to a job in Long Island doing security. And motherfuckers like, yo, you got a twin? Nah, what you talking about?
Did that shit humble you though?
It's not humbling. Humbling is like twisting your ankle. This shit was like, it was deaf. 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 And I'm going to tell you why it was deaf, because of the fact that you're living, but you're hyperventilating every time, you know, somebody hits the wrong button or somebody asks you, yo, what happened? You know, that's deaf for artists. That's deaf.
But you made it out of that, man. Let me tell you something.
But it's not deaf. That's, you know, because in the reality of life, like I said, it's psychological. And, you know, I as I said before earlier in the podcast, I'm a servant of God. And I was content with walking away. I wasn't happy with the way I walked away, but I was content with it because I had to be, because I wasn't gonna never do nothing, any sort of, you know, any sort of anything to myself, because I did, you know, especially when I came in, we already had the preconceived notion that rappers didn't have a career past 25 anyway. So it was like, yo, you got the shot of a lifetime. You got to figure out the rest of your life. But then, like, I promise you, man, the flows never left. It was torture, because it was just like, I'll be at work and I'll be thinking of the craziest shit. I was like, literally, like
wow, what do you mean thinking?
I'm damn saying like the craziest rhymes ever. Like, remember, and you know, just to close this out, like, you got to really think about in context how many. So Kanye had like the first treasure chest, because I had it all inside of me. It was like when it opened up, it was like between me and him, bruh. Bruh, it was 5 classic albums back to back. I even wrote R&B shit on 808s because it was that much inside of me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was that much, you know, and he had the same. So it was like, if you took my experience and then you took him constantly being told, you never, ever, never, ever, ever. And even when Dame signed him, it was just like, just for the beats, and he knew it. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, we had one conversation. We was like, yo, 2 years from now, we going to be the best motherfuckers alive. And I mean, damn near, you know, it damn near came into fruition.
You know, listen, as we finalize and wind this episode down, I do have 2 things left for you. One is I do want to say is that I'm really proud of, as a fellow father, of the father you are to your kid. I've seen you over the years bring him to interviews. I've seen you teach him game. And, you know, I think it's important for us fathers to not only be in, you know, the presence is important. Like, I always preach presence over presence, but not only just be in your kid's life, but teach him, you know what I mean? And show him the way. And I'm really proud when I see that shit, man. It really, like, you know, I think you put a spotlight on fathers bringing their kids around on more things that maybe some fathers would just be like, yo, I'll leave him home. Right. You know, and introducing him to the culture and surrounding him. I mean, this kid's, it's not even about a picture, but bringing him around like Yeezy and Kim K. And just these are moments that this kid, you know, will have forever. And it's like, you know, I don't know, I as a fellow father, I see that with you, like, yo, if your kid wants to be a lawyer, you're going to surround them with lawyers. Right. And honestly, I'm proud to see that, man. I really am.
I'm all about, you know, like you know, just reflecting on what the things that I've just said. You know, I love my son. I would never want to see him go through the things that I've gone through. And so I'm proactive in putting things in motion for him. Even if it's, look, I had a child later on in life. Typically people have kids in their first children in their 20s or 30s. I haven't had them mid-30s. So, I don't take life for granted. Any day, any day could be your last in the jungle. But I want to make sure that every day that I am here, that I take a step towards giving him a foundation, a network, giving him a legacy that, he can expound on, so that, depending, whatever he chooses to do once he's a grown man, he at least has a base.
Sure.
If not more than that, like I said, I can't predict the future. So the only thing I could do is live it day by day. But that's my outlook and my goal with him is just, so I mean, obviously, it's great to take pictures and things of that nature, but it's also, want you to be able to be like, yo, not for nothing. If my dad not here, can I come and just, get an internship?
Sure, build a relationship.
Yeah, get an internship, get an assistant job.
Sure.
Get any of those things to where, you're not starting from the bare bottom.
Sure. You get a little head start.
Right.
And I think that's what a parent does, man. Well, look, Cons, man, like I said, your career, your journey. I do want to say this, man. When you speak about to me, your journey is if we're gonna put it to social media, your journey is without no filter, and is real, and it's like you didn't try to take 60 pictures and pick the best one.
Right.
You took 60 pictures.
Right.
And man, I applaud you for that. Even with the whole job
and
shit.
posted them all.
Yeah, and posted them all.
Yeah.
And even
no matter what the like was.
You never gave up, man. Forget about what your career is your career, man, and your journey is your journey, man, and it's special. You never fucking gave up, man. That's a lot to say, man.
Nah,
you walk this way, you walk that way, but you never gave fucking up.
Yeah, I run a clothes company. I forgot I was even coming here to talk about it.
I mean, listen,
but it's cool. But nah. I mean, yeah. So when you think about it, when I think about it, it's just like, man, I went from working in retail to working over retail, and man. That's beautiful.
On Instagram, it's the Cons.
Cons TV on Instagram.
Or Cons TV on Twitter.
And Twitter it's the Cons, ITSTHECONS.
Our Tribe Called Quest clothing. Where can that be found?
You can actually, for all the clothing, you can go to my Instagram page, which is Cons TV, and you can go to the Tribe Called Quest Instagram page, which is ATCQ. The link is in the bio. And
will it be available in any stores in 2018?
Yeah. We have we have the Vans releasing in April.
Vans.
We did a collaboration with Vans.
Nice.
And we got some other smoke coming.
Is that known?
Is that
known?
What?
The Vans, the Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah. I mean, it's known, but we here to spread the word.
Okay.
So I think I don't know if you saw, but we had to actually the first sneaker that we displayed is the Bonita.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we displayed the Bonita at Complex Con, and
yep, you're right.
we got some smoke coming.
Listen, Cons, man, I appreciate you, man.
Likewise.
I appreciate you, and like I said,
me.
Of course, man. Your journey. Listen, internets, fuck with the Tribe Called Quest clothing, man. Super duper dope to keep the legacy alive. That's the thing in hip hop. Keep the legacy alive. Like, if you're a fan of something, then there's so much to get involved with, whether it be music and merch, and
right.
You know what I mean. So listen, and your son, man.
Yeah,
Caden, man. Look out for Caden, man.
He'll be out next year. His LP,
Super Manager.
His LP is titled "Just Being a Kid." So we on it, man. He got some fire coming real soon. I'm so happy about this.
Internet's Consequence.
Peace.
See you next episode.
Queens all day.
Cheers. Internets, if you enjoyed that episode, I want you to reach out to me. Email me. Tweet me, okay? Email thepremiumpeteshow@gmail.com. At Twitter, @PremiumPete. @PremiumPete Show on Instagram, @PremiumPete, @PremiumPete Show also. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you didn't like. And also, to all my small businesses or big businesses, no matter how small or big you are, you want to advertise with the Premium Pete Show, get at me. ThePremiumPeteShow@gmail.com, and we'll figure something out, okay? Now make sure you subscribe, rate, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'll see you next episode. Cheer.